This show is nearly a decade old, but I think about it 24/7, so I had to get these thoughts out of my head before they take over. Now, I'm not a film professor, I'm just a fan who has thoughts that are literally overflowing. And though I haven't seen The Haunting of Hill House in years, I'm ready to have my life ruined again. This is an unprofessional, very detailed, and slightly chaotic breakdown of Episode 1. So, first things first, what even is this show? The Haunting of Hill House is a supernatural horror series created and directed by Mike Flanagan in 2018. It's a story about the Crane family moving into Hill House to flip it. It explores how memories can be ghosts and how guilt can follow you just as much as a spirit in a hallway. Now let's meet the siblings. Stephen, the skeptic who wrote a book about his family and sold them out for cash. Shirley, the control freak mortician. If something's broken, she'll fix it. Theo, the child psychologist who wears gloves because she feels too much from others, and Luke and Nell, the heart and the heartbreak of the family. We also have the father, Hugh, the fixer who couldn't fix his family. He spent years in exile to protect his children from the truth of what happened to their mother, Olivia, a sensitive who was slowly corrupted by the house's spirits. Driven mad by visions of her children's future pain, she chose to wake them up. We also have the Dudleys, the caretakers who knew the house's hunger. They stayed to remain close to their daughter Abigail, who became a permanent resident. The show covers two different timelines. The summer of repairs in 1992, where the Crane family moves into Hill House to renovate and flip it to build their forever house. What begins as a summer of hope descends into a supernatural nightmare, resulting in a frantic escape and the death of mother Olivia Crane. The haunted adults, 26 years later in 2018, the five siblings are scattered and estranged and pulled back to the house, forcing them to confront the literal and psychological ghosts that never left them. In other words, everyone is messy, everyone is haunted, everyone needs therapy. Now let's get into the deep dive. The pilot begins with our oldest Crane sibling, Stephen. As an adult, Stephen makes a living writing about ghosts he doesn't believe in and exploiting other people's grief for his next book. His first book, The Haunting of Hill House, based on his family's trauma, caused a deep rift between him and his siblings who felt exploited. He represents the denial stage of grief. Let's take a look at Stephen's rational explanations, the leak. Stephen dismisses the ceiling leak as a plumbing issue rather than rain. The car horns. Stephen notices there was no stop sign on the street, suggesting college kids must have stolen it, resulting in near-car accidents out on the street. That could be why Irene was kept up at night. Grief. Stephen claims ghosts are just memories, daydreams, or secrets as a well to disarm the supernatural, which is a word he hates. He thinks he's the smart one because he explains everything away with science. He uses logic to shield himself from the trauma of his childhood. This first episode is all about Stephen, but let's see what the other Cranes are up to in the now timeline. Hugh, living alone in Florida, talking to himself, and cuddling with ghost women. Shirley, a funeral homeowner, living in Massachusetts and beefing with her older brother, #respect. Theo, a child psychologist with sensitive touch, living in Shirley's guest house, hooking up with women. Very cool, very distant, very hot. Luke, struggling with a severe drug addiction. In rehab and stealing from Stephen, double respect. Nell, spiritually broken, calling up everyone and their mama for help. Yet no one answers. Now, I want to talk about the difference between the siblings, specifically the oldest siblings. Shirley calls Stephen to discuss Nell's phone call saying how she was worried about her twin brother Luke and that it was an emergency, but he is reluctant to cooperate and help her with the situation because he claims everything is an emergency with Nell, which only increases the obvious tension between the two. Stephen and Shirley are the two oldest, but she reminds Stephen that it's his job to take care of everyone, like to check on the twins. Now, normally, I hate this input. For example, in The Summer I Turned Pretty, I don't know how my brain compared this, but this was said to Conrad Fisher, who is the oldest yet. He was dealing with so much between finding out his mother has cancer and his panic attacks, and all other kinds of teenage bullshit. But in this situation, Stephen's just acting like an ass.
Mom was mentally ill, it's a fact. didn't fall too far.
Like Shirley knew Nell can sometimes overwhelm herself over little things, yet she still makes an effort to make sure she's okay. We also briefly meet Theo. Theo is sensitive to feelings. She has to wear gloves because touching things or people is overwhelming for her. We meet her at a bar where she's charming and magnetic. She hooks up with a woman named Trish. Theo kicks her out immediately after. Theo lives in Shirley's guest house but keeps everyone at arm's length, including her siblings. She's guarded and uses sarcasm as a shield. She isn't talking to Nell because of a massive fight that happened in California. We find out more later. Shirley scolds Theo for not talking to Nell after realizing Nell had called everyone except for Theo. And while Theo claims she's setting boundaries, Shirley can't turn her baby siblings away. In this first episode, we see the first few themes of childhood trauma. Nell's vision. Young Nell is the first to see the bent neck lady, a figure that will define her entire life. The Red Room. A locked door that no key can open. It acts as the stomach of the house waiting to digest them. Luke's friend, introduced as an imaginary friend, but the house's layout suggests otherwise. We learn more later. But let's get a little deeper. The primary antagonist of Nell's childhood is the bent neck lady, an entity that appears to her during episodes of sleep paralysis. In the present, Nell calls her siblings in a panic, claiming that the figure has returned. While Stephen and Shirley, of course, ignore the calls, the nightmare is becoming a reality once more. Hugh is the only one who answers Nell, in which she frantically explains that the bent neck lady has returned. Hugh gets worried. Nell says she's home. Spoiler, she's not. Hugh tells her to drive to Steve's, and that he will see her the following day. If my grown-ass daughter was still talking about some creepy lady from childhood, I would have taken the first flight there. The mystery of the Red Room. In the flashbacks, there is this one room that nobody can open. The master key doesn't work. The father can't break it down. As a viewer, this is the biggest nope for me. If a door won't open in a haunted house, stop trying to open it and get the fuck out of there. Like, why would you want to live in a house where you can't open a certain room? The Big Escape. The night everything went wrong. Hugh drives away with all of his children that night, but doesn't take Olivia, the children's mother. When questioned about it, Hugh tells the children that what they have left behind isn't their mother. The Cranes have a shared connection. Every sibling wakes up at this exact time, 3:03 a.m. or 12:03 a.m., depending on time zone, with a cracking pain in their neck. This is the moment of Nell's death. Despite being miles apart, the house maintains a physical link to their bodies. It's a way of saying that distance doesn't matter when you're haunted by the same blood. Why 3:03 a.m.? Obviously, 3 a.m. is the witching/devil's hour. Also, I noticed when you tilted, it says the word mom, which time when given Olivia Crane's tragic end. And what we find out later on in the story between the two, it's a chilling visual pun. During the last few minutes of episode 1, we meet adult Luke. Stephen returns to his apartment to find Luke stealing his electronics to buy drugs. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Instead of getting angry, Stephen gives him money. He's trying to protect the little boy Luke used to be. I've never been in a situation like this, but it's always so hard and heartbreaking on both sides. The episode's climax is devastating. Stephen sees Nell in his apartment and thinks she's just visiting and complains about what's so important to call up the whole family. Then Stephen gets a call from his dad saying Nell is back at Hill House and that she's dead. Stephen finally sees the ghost of his baby sister, and his denial is shattered in a second. From now on, I would have believed everything if I saw that with my own 2 eyes. If you like this video, please subscribe for episode 2. Thank you for watching.